Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will serve you the tea. And trust me, this is piping hot. You know what time it is. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's been quietly simmering, but now it's fully boiled over. We're talking about Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker, whose divorce has officially turned from a private, respectful split into a full-blown courtroom war. I've been watching this patiently for a while, because if there's one thing Kandi does not play about, it's her reputation, and more importantly, her money. And let me tell you, this time, the gloves are off. What was once whispered behind closed doors is now out in the open for everyone to see. Custody battles, child support fights, and a prenup dispute that could literally shake Kandi's multi-million-dollar empire. And if that's not dramatic enough, Todd seems to be living his best life in front of the cameras, while Kandi claims it's all a facade. So grab your popcorn because we are about to unpack this messy, messy story. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss any updates on this case or any of the other big celebrity stories we cover here. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with what sparked the most recent drama. On January 8, 2026, Kandi Burruss, legally listed as Kayla Tucker in court, filed a motion for a temporary hearing on parenting time and child support in Fulton County Superior Court. Now, this isn't your run-of-the-mill filing. Kandi is asking the court to step in before the divorce is even finalized because, according to her, Todd is not doing what he's supposed to do as a parent. She claims he's not contributing financially to their children's expenses, he's interfering with her parenting time, and he's creating a misleading public persona online while leaving her to handle all the financial responsibility. For context, Kandi and Todd share two children together, Ace, born in 2016, and Blaze, born in 2019. And let's be real, raising two young children in today's world is not cheap. According to Kandi's filing, the kids have significant monthly expenses that include but aren't limited to nanny and childcare costs, tuition, extracurricular activities, birthday parties, medical care, travel, and daily living expenses. And here's the kicker. Kandi says Todd hasn't contributed financially to any of it. In fact, she claims he has been jet-setting around the world, posting from tropical locations, and giving the public the impression that he's an involved dad. But Kandi's court documents say this is all a show, a carefully curated image that doesn't reflect the reality at home. Her motion details that Todd has failed to support the children since she filed for divorce, leaving the sole responsibility on her shoulders. And it's not just about money. Kandi alleges that Todd has interfered with her parenting time. For instance, during the recent Christmas holiday, she says Todd tried to prevent the children from traveling to New York to visit her, even though she had already covered the travel costs and given him plenty of notice. According to the filing, Todd's behavior isn't just inconvenient, it's petty, calculated, and harmful to the children. Kandi is now asking the court to intervene and establish a temporary parenting schedule, define holiday arrangements, ensure she gets spring break with her children, and award temporary child support. This isn't minor legal drama. These are serious allegations that courts in Georgia take very seriously. And Kandi is sending a clear message: she's done playing nice, and she will fight for her children's financial and emotional well-being. Of course, Todd isn't just going to sit back quietly. On January 2, 2026, he filed an answer and counterclaim in response to Kandi's motion, and let's just say he's coming in swinging as well. Todd is now seeking custody of the two minor children, claiming that Kandi works out of state and that he should be considered the primary caregiver. He's asking the court for both temporary and permanent custody, as well as final decision-making authority over the children's upbringing. In other words, this is no longer just a financial dispute, it's a full custody battle. This makes things even more complicated because both parties are painting very different pictures of parenting. Kandi claims Todd barely contributes financially or otherwise, aside from posting Instagram videos portraying himself as the ultimate hands-on dad. Todd, on the other hand, argues that he is the primary parent and that his involvement in the children's daily lives is critical. This discrepancy between perception and reality is what makes family court cases like this so difficult. Judges have to carefully evaluate who is truly providing for the children's best interests, and that includes both time spent and financial support. Additionally, Kandi's motion specifically points out that Todd has multiple sources of income as a self-employed entrepreneur, yet he hasn't contributed fairly to the children's expenses. He doesn't pay the mortgage or other household expenses, and according to her filing, his involvement in day-to-day parenting is minimal. Meanwhile, the children are caught in the middle of this public conflict, which adds a layer of complexity and emotional weight to the case. To make matters worse, Todd has publicly presented himself as a perfect, involved father. Videos posted on social media show him taking the kids to school, helping with homework, and engaging in activities that portray a daddy daycare image. But Kandi alleges that these videos are misleading and don't reflect the reality of his contributions, which are sporadic and insufficient. It's classic image versus reality drama, and the court will have to sort out what is true. And if you thought custody and child support weren't enough, we need to talk about the prenup. Oh yes, this is where things get really sticky. Todd admits that he signed a prenuptial agreement on April 4th, 2014, the day they got married. But here's the catch. He claims the prenup should not be enforced because it was presented to him right before the wedding, without the presence of his attorney. This raises serious questions about whether it was fair or voluntary. Why does this matter? Because Kandi's prenup is what protects her multi-million-dollar empire, including her Bravo checks, music catalog, and various businesses. If the prenup is ruled invalid, suddenly Todd could claim a share of all of it. And he's not just going for custody, he's asking for alimony, child support, and an equitable division of assets. This means that this divorce isn't just a personal battle, it's a financial earthquake. We're talking potentially millions of dollars on the line, and that's why the stakes are so high. This is what turns a celebrity divorce into headline news. It's no longer about just splitting assets quietly, it's about who ends up with control over what, and who is financially responsible moving forward. Todd's attempt to challenge the prenup could reshape the outcome entirely. If he succeeds, it could significantly diminish Kandi's control over her own empire. And if he fails, Kandi walks away relatively unscathed financially. Either way, this prenup dispute adds a whole new layer of tension to an already explosive situation. So what does all of this boil down to? Essentially, this divorce is now centered around three main questions: who really raises the kids, who really pays for the kids, and who gets Kandi's money. Todd is claiming he is the primary parent, that he is the one providing care and guidance, and that he should have significant custody and decision-making authority. Kandi, on the other hand, is saying he barely helps and primarily posts for social media while she handles both the financial and emotional responsibilities of parenting. Todd says the prenup is unfair. Kandi says he agreed to it and she's not funding his lifestyle. And let's not forget, the court has to decide whether Todd's claims about parenting and financial contributions are truthful. They'll also need to determine whether the prenup holds. If it does, Kandi retains control over her empire and Todd may walk away with very little. But if it fails, Todd could claim significant portions of her assets. This isn't just drama, it's a high-stakes legal battle with real consequences for the children and both parents. It's also worth noting how public this case has become. Both Kandi and Todd have platforms and social media presence, which can complicate things further. When cases like this become public, every post, video, or social media claim can be scrutinized in court. That's why lawyers often advise celebrity clients to be extremely careful online. They could be inadvertently weakening their case. In this instance, Kandi is saying Todd's social media persona doesn't reflect reality, and the court will have to decide which side is telling the truth. However, now, for those who have been following, remember when we said this divorce was gonna get ugly? That was just a few days ago, and guess what? Todd proved us right. Kandi, on the other hand, tried to keep things cute. She filed a no-drama divorce settlement, extended well wishes, kept it kumbaya, all that good energy. But Todd, no. He hit back with a vengeance. He declared himself the primary parent, demanded emergency full custody, legal custody, and even tried to invalidate the prenup, claiming it was unfair and attempting to claim half of Kandi's empire. And to make matters even more absurd, he cited Bravo footage as part of his argument. Let me just stop here and say this. Todd might be dreaming if he thinks he can come for Kandi Burruss like this. Lover or hater, Kandi is Miss Atlanta. She is beloved by fans, respected by judges, and she has a support network and family that could rival any legal dream team. Todd, on the other hand, is out here coming up with what I can only call half-baked schemes. But Kandi? She clapped back hard, strategic, ruthless, and full of receipts. And we are going to unpack all of this because it is messy, iconic, and completely worth the tea. So let's start with Kandi's counterattack, because this is where things really get interesting. Kandi didn't just sit there quietly. She came back swinging. First up, she filed for a gag order, and if you don't know what that means, let me explain. A gag order in a divorce case is basically a court-issued way to keep either party from publicly discussing the case. Kandi is saying in no uncertain terms that she does not want Todd leaking anything, hinting, blogging, posting, or using the storyline for public leverage. She wants all financial disclosures, home addresses, and sensitive information sealed. This includes pleadings, exhibits, testimony, and transcripts, essentially a full blackout order. Why? Because she sees Todd's social media strategy and PR game as a genuine threat. And now let's talk about the prenup. Todd tried to claim it was invalid, alleging he was handed it right before the wedding and didn't have proper legal counsel. Classic invalidate the prenup move, right? But Kandi? She literally pulled out the receipts, y'all. The same attorney representing Todd in the divorce, Randall Kessler, also represented him during the prenup. And get this, the Bravo footage shows Todd discussing the prenup on camera with legal advice and agreeing to it. Kandi basically told the judge, "Roll the Bravo tape, Your Honor. He is